it's not something that can't be, I don't want to say dealt with, but at least I can live successfully even with parts of my life becoming unmanageable, because I'm able to check it. You know what I mean? I can check it and apply the principles and make the right decision, as opposed to just firing off on impulse and stuff. It's a constant for me. This is becoming like, it's that daily inventory shit. Like, I think about what I've done, you know, promptly, and I come to a realization promptly when I'm outside of the spiritual principles, or I'm outside of you know, the program itself when it comes to how I'm living. It's real obvious to me at this point, and it's because I feel that bad feeling, you know, like it's very clear to me. I have this chest feeling when I'm doing right and I'm applying the program, and then if I get outside of it, I feel it so much faster. Or, you know, I didn't even feel it before. That's so much faster is bullshit. I didn't feel it at all before when I was living in my character defects, because I didn't have any concept of what those were, you know?
No, yeah, we were talking about that in group today, where, like, you know, the body, the mind, the spirit, emotional, we were checking in the 4 dimensions of self, you know, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally.
Right.
You know, we were talking about how, like, all those things give us signals, you know what I'm saying, that we can learn to listen to and address. Whereas when we're in our active addiction, our goal is to just make it go away. Like, we get that anxiety. How do I make this go away? You know, I get a shitty thought, a painful feeling. How do I make it go away? And not really thinking like, let's follow this signal. Where does it lead? Let's get to the root of the issue and solve it, because that's hard and that's scary. And, you know, it was cool to, like, have people bring that up and then just kind of talk about that and dissect it a little bit, you know, and really that's what it's all about. I mean, it's not about making the pain go away. It's about getting to the root, you know, like digging out that splinter, you know, rather than just putting some numbing cream on it, you know?
Mm-hmm. No doubt. What's up there, E?
What up, E? What up, E?
What up? So Wes brought up the pink cloud. I'm curious, Steven, did you experience a pink cloud, and what was yours like?
Bro, I almost changed my name to Pinky.
Keep it G-rated, though.
Dog, I was on hyper recovery. Like, someone in rehab, the dude who told me I'm not special, the dude who told me about 4 agreements, he's just like, you are on hyper recovery. Because I was just balls to the wall, excited for life. So, you know, they talk about the pink cloud, whatever. And I just kept it rolling, man. Like, I was just so excited to be alive and to be clean. And all these new, like, meeting topics and recovery principles were like light bulbs firing off in my head. And I was just really excited about life. And then when I met my recovery coach, she's like, wow, you really riding that pink cloud right now. And I'm like, doof. And then, so it got me in a little funk for a minute. But then I attended this one meeting that I haven't been to in a really long time. And there was this guy named Pinky. And his story is like, he's just been on this pink cloud for like, whatever, 10 years or more, whatever. And that was just so inspiring to me. I'm like, bro, I'm going to ride this motherfucker to the wheels fall off. Like, so I wouldn't say it's a pink cloud in the traditional sense where it's like that fresh new rush of recovery, because that's kind of what a pink cloud is. It's almost like a new drug. Oh, I feel. Oh, I think. Oh, I have energy. Oh, I'm bouncing off. Wow, this is so new. I haven't felt this way in 10 years. You know, it almost is like a brand new feeling that you can get lost in. But whenever I'm feeling real uppity, real sassy, just real present and real grateful and real alive, I consider that just a continuation of my pink cloud. You know, I'm not forever on it. But if my serenity's in check, I feel like that's how I can keep it back. But I don't think that's a textbook definition of pink cloud, but that's how I look at it.
You know, I was just listening to you talk. When I was using before I got clean, like there wasn't a whole lot of feeling of anything. So even just getting clean and feeling intensely, right? It can be jubilation or a negative feeling like that. Just feeling in and of itself is a big change. So I know that when I, my first 30 days clean, it was just like I'm beginning to realize how it feels versus then, because it was like, bam, everything was on blast. All my senses were on blast after, being numb for fucking 10 years, a long time, and not even realizing that I was numb, like it's like, if I'd have known that this shit felt this good, I'd have come to a full surrender a long time ago. That's bullshit, because we don't have the control of a timeline as to when we live through these steps of recovery.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's life, right? But man, like the opposite, the way that I feel in recovery versus the way that I felt in active addiction is insanely different. It's like the whole fucking paradigm has shifted into sitting, like we've talked about, sit on the porch, listen to the birds, look at the flowers,
right?
Watch the clouds. All that shit's just amazing, because I was so blind. I was blind to it for so long and didn't even realize it. That singularity, dude, that singular focus on one substance for so long, it just sucked every bit of feeling and emotion out of me for so long. There was only one emotion, and that was, I'm pissed off that I can't get more dope. That was it. That was it. Because once I got high, it was just it was off into fantasy land. It wasn't. There was no control of anything under the influence for me. So to have emotions and shit these days is pretty cool.
Hell yeah, man.
Feels good.
How about you, Eric? You ever experienced the pink cloud yet?
Mm-hmm.
I tried to get clean long time ago. It was probably like 10 years ago, and I think it was like 29 days or something. But back then I had the pink cloud. Like the minute I started going to meetings, I just, like, it was like I was reborn again and felt amazing. But then I relapsed, and this time around, it's kind of hard, because when I first got clean this time around, it was 2 days before my divorce was finalized, and I had gotten out of the hospital over the weekend. And like, oh, man, I'd say for the first, I think it was 90 days when I met up with you guys on the meeting. But those 90 days were the hardest days of my life. Like, I don't know, like there was no pink cloud, and all the motivational videos I was watching would say like meditate and watch your breath and all this stuff. And I'd go hiking every weekend and just try to quiet things down. But it was like my mind was going haywire, and I had anxiety like crazy. And I felt like I truly convinced myself that if this is what being clean feels like I didn't want it. And then, yeah, I don't know. I think it was the heartbreak too, though, that had to do with that. But I like, Stephen, how you said that you have little waves, kind of like of a pink cloud, because I feel like that's kind of what mine's been like this time around. Like I'll get really good moments where I just feel great, even like regardless of if life's not going the way I want it to, or if there's not good things happening in that moment, like I still feel good. And yeah, I don't know, it's just weird. Like right now, like I don't know, things could be going much better than they are, and like regardless of what's going on, I feel okay. Like I know I'm going to be okay. And I've been through stuff like this before. And especially last year, like if I could make it through what happened last year and stay clean, then like what's going on right now is not going to be that hard, you know? And
Heard that, bro.
I don't know. Yeah, I have waves of the pink cloud, and I feel like that's how life is. It's just ups and downs, balance, and just got to take it all as it is.
You know, man, something that you just made me think about, Eric, when you were talking about going through life on life's terms, is that in recovery, like, first of all, what the currency that we trade in recovery is experience, right? That's what experience is, what we can pass along to somebody else. It's what we were given in order to get what we have, right? And I mean, it's like going through life on life's terms and experiencing things clean. It's like every day we have the opportunity as recovering addicts to collect a couple dollars worth of experience in some way, shape, or form through talking to each other, through attending meetings, through working directly with a sponsor, living the steps. Like every ounce of, or every minute of our day, we have an opportunity to grow in recovery. And it's just an opportunity because we can leave that shit on the table and walk away from it and not learn if we're not aware, and if we're not in tune with what a gift it is that we're able to cognitively understand what our lives, what our brains are doing, and understand how to understand that shit is a gift. That is not natural. There are people in this world that walk around for their entire fucking lives that never come to a point where they become spiritual, where they find themselves, right? And God bless them, they don't need to. Whatever. Like if you want to stay plugged into the matrix, maybe it's not even want to. If you're plugged in and you're happy with it, and you're that kind of individual or whatever, I don't even know how to describe that. Like, so be it.
Unconscious.
Right. Yeah, that's a great way to describe it. Us folks like us that are at this point, due to some level of pain, we've made a decision, right? Due to pain, because we still want to live, and pain eventually will kill us, or we will kill ourselves, right? Through that pain. We now have an opportunity, man. We have an opportunity to learn every single day, and we have the opportunity to help others. And through that, we learn, it's just, it makes a whole lot of sense to me now these days, and for today, today it makes a lot of sense. And it's because I live in the principles of the program. I'm honest, I'm open-minded, and I'm willing all the time in all of my affairs. And I have the ability to identify when I get a piece of experience, and I say, fuck, there's some of that shit that I can use to help somebody else right there. Noted. You know what I mean? And man, that's to me, that's what living in the solution means. It's just having that mental ability or awareness to to identify when I can pick something up and pass it along to somebody else and make an impact on their lives, which is why we're here. No doubt in my mind at this point, like after walking around like a zombie for decades without any real purpose of understanding of why I am actually here, you know, it's pretty powerful to feel feel change in myself and to see how awesome it is when somebody can relate to it and say, "Fuck, I know what you're saying, dude. Talk to me some more." You know, like I don't know, dude. I love it. I'm grateful as hell for it. Pete's
got a little flip on the pink cloud. So having a pink cloud is like walking around with serenity with no currency. You know what I mean? Because like no interest in giving or receiving currency of experience. Because when I did experience a pink cloud when I got sober in 2010, kind of like Eric's story, probably it was for about a year, but only that first month did I feel the pink cloud, because then I was on Suboxone and I was, not that took much away from it, but a lack of program and a deep dive into my human defects was the killer there. I felt that rush. It was a brand new rush. It was like the new drug, but the lack of currency, the lack of even trying to gain or give any type of experience. There was nothing anybody could tell me. I had a drug problem. I had a substance issue that was a craving and withdrawal issue, and that's it. I don't have a problem. You know what I mean? I don't need to listen to people in meetings. I never even heard anything in a meeting that halfway connected to me. But I was also going to meetings at the Suboxone clinic with everybody who has maybe between 1 and 3 months. And all they did, I mean, they literally let them sit in the meetings talking about how much they paid for their pills and how many they were taking and all this shit.
Wow.
As part of their share. So that's the experience currency I was getting. And I was like, I told my counselor, I'm like, I don't want to fucking come to these because I feel triggered when I leave. But my point is, like, it's running off that rush without the footwork. So if you feel that rush, that lust for life, that brand new awakening, but you're also going to meetings, you're also having light bulb moments, you're also have an attitude to give, you develop and understand what gratitude is, you start to actually ingrain some of these recovery principles, then that pink cloud isn't really a pink cloud, it's just serenity, and that's how I look at it these days, because anybody can get that first rush. And if you think that's it, like, oh, I feel good, that's it. Why do I go to a meeting? I don't feel like using today. I know I'm never going to use again. The pain's fresh. It's right there in my rear view. I see it. I, feel great. People in my life are telling me they're proud of me, blah, blah, blah. 30 days go by, life becomes life. People, you're still an asshole. So people still say, fuck you. And then you lose that fresh new rush. Nobody's patting you on the back, and you turn around and use. Because you're like, well, fuck, this sucks. And it's like, well, no shit, man. You didn't do anything, like,
back to isolation,
Oh, hell yeah. Hard too. Mm-hmm. That's when I gave up all hope. I'm like, well, recovery's bullshit. Being sober sucks. I might as well at least get some moments of relief, and it didn't take long for that dark cloud to come right back.
No doubt, dude. It's amazing how fast that disease takes back over if we go at it alone. It's like, okay, I can come into a meeting, I can get a little bit of that, I can walk away, and then this is the flawed concept that was in my head for so long. I can go get me a little bit, make some friends, leave, and expect that disease not to be right there waiting on me. You know what I'm saying? Like right there waiting on me. As soon as I turn the corner and walk down the street towards the bars, guess who's fucking standing on the sidewalk waiting for me? You know what I mean? Just the insanity I mean, the disease, what the literature of my fellowship says, the disease is cunning, baffling, and insidious. And straight up, man, that rings a bell from my experience, you know, of trying to half-ass my way, trying to think my way into recovery for so long. Man, I got this shit. Like, it seems like I'm doing okay. You know, I think I know my higher power. I think I got people fooled. I'm still dishonest. I'm fooling myself, right? Like, I don't know, man. I'm grateful to not be living in that lie anymore, man. Fucking made me feel terrible about myself. And you know, I got so many new people in my life at this point that I care about, and it's crazy because it's everything that I ever didn't know I want. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had no concept of love. I had no concept of what it felt like to be loved and love. And it sure is. The grass sure is green over here at this point. Pink cloud or not, I don't know what the fuck to call it other than recovery. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Like, and I think that, to your point, Stephen, I think that's because it's built. I'm grateful as fuck to have had my experience, because my foundation is strong. You know, like, it's strong, and everybody comes into recovery through different walks, like straight off the street, straight out of the dope house. Okay, some of us have to come into the meetings and sit around for 3 years while still being dishonest with ourselves, and then it kicks in based on some event, right? And like that the latter example there is a pretty good description of me. And thank God that I kept coming, man. Thank God, because that built the foundation and makes it. I feel like I'm in a better place because I've put the program in action than perhaps somebody that just comes straight in and picks up one key tag right out of the gate. Because my shit, I'm not deaf, dumb, and blind. I kept coming back. I sat in fucking rooms. I sat in the circles. I listened. I heard people. I might have gone and gotten high. I might have been dishonest. But man, thank God for that experience, because once that occurred, it's like the whole fucking engine started moving all at once, and the steps become a life guide rather than something on a fucking piece of paper in a workbook. You know, like,
Oh yeah.
it's pretty awesome. I'm grateful as hell for it, and the gifts that it brings on the daily. Like, we have a daily reprieve, and we get to reap the benefits on a daily basis too. You know, like, it's not like it's been my experience that life begins getting better the first day that we make a decision not to pick that dope up.
Oh yeah. May not be great. We may not be feeling it, but it's definitely better.
Yep.
What you think, Mr. Egg? Mr. Doggy Face Man? It's got a picture of a dog.
I've been listening to what you both have been saying, and I don't know. It's all, my mind's just kind of all over the place. But like, the gifts of recovery, for me, it's everything, because it's just crazy for me to look at like things that happen in my life today that would set me off into like just this downward, like, psychotic, crazy, I don't even know the word, like, I would say violent, aggressive person. And like, that part of me, it's still in there, and I can recognize like when my blood's boiling, but I can like keep it in check. And I don't know, there's been moments where it's like, it feels like it's gonna get out of control, And then I just reach out to you guys, and like, not only do you guys give me a different perspective on what's going on in my life, but then I don't know, it's almost like, I don't know, maybe maybe talking to you guys is just like something that helps me, because like usually after I reach out, I can not necessarily laugh at the situation, but I don't have to frown upon it. And that's like, that's a gift for my recovery, because it's like I said before, I couldn't even talk to my mom. Like, I think she was scared to talk to me, and I was just so shut off all the time that anything she did say, it would just piss me off for some reason. And like, we have a good relationship now, and it's like that pretty much with everyone. Like, I don't know, I see people, and even if someone says something hurtful to me, it I don't take it so personal. And I don't know, I was never like that, and I feel like I'm a completely different person. It's weird. Like, there's times where my head will be like, "Yo, man, are you going crazy?" Because like, I don't know, I'm just so mellow now, and like, yeah, there's a lot of shit going on in my life, and it's it's life, and yeah, I don't have to freak out about it, you know.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think a big thing too is who you have in your life. Cause like, yeah, I mean, just you mentioning that, it's, makes me think of all the people in my life, from coworkers to family to friends and associates. And man, it's just amazing. Like, when I post things on Facebook, like, I don't know, certain things like hitting a new recovery milestone's usually a big one. Give myself a nice little speech or a little, little something just to truly like express like the mind-blowing gratitude I have when I hit one. I'm like, damn, really? Get like, hundreds of likes, or at least 100. But like, and I think I've said this even on here before, where um I don't just look at the number, I look at the people. I see throughout the day the different people that are liking it. And I'm thinking, where do I know you from? Wow, like just, I remember going to work the first time I got clean. I had 2 jobs, was in school, probably didn't have but 2 of them as any type of like Facebook friend or anything, probably didn't even speak to more than 10 of them. And the relationship wasn't deep. You know what I mean? And even these people I worked with at Walmart or, the hospital, and we don't have a real personal relationship. We have a genuine relationship. Like they give a shit about me. Like they think I'm a good person. And it's mind blowing. It's like, dude, I was literally like the guy who like sat in the corner all cagey and shit and like just wanted everyone away from me, just pushed everyone away. And just to see the difference that just all the people in my family that like, they're still being the same way they ever were. It's not like anybody's treating me much different. It's just I'm not shutting myself out, So, but from what I first started saying, the people you keep around you, because I have someone in my life who is not very nice to me. And she can bring out that asshole, because she did this week. I'm usually really good at not going there, knowing that, the 2 of us bring out each other's absolute worst. She's not a horrible person as she seems to me, because in my mind, she's this image that is just a horrible person, and she is not very good when she lashes out, but it's hard for me to have any type of compassion because of the history. So anyway, she brought out the worst. I mean, not the worst, but a lesser version of me this week. I didn't resort to name calling and all that, but man, I really got toxic. And it was totally justified because she was being toxic and she started it. And maybe I started it. I don't know. But man, it's having those type of people in your life can keep you from growing, because they're gonna keep giving you that energy. And if you're not really adamant about stepping away or not participating, you're either going to get beat down by it or you're going to reciprocate it. And then you're going to, like, we can have it out. She doesn't walk away reflecting. I mean, I don't know if she does, but she definitely won't the way I do. I'll walk away like, bro, you know better. You know you done fucked up. And now I feel bad, and I don't like doing that. I don't mind analyzing myself, but I don't want to. I'm glad I don't have someone in my life regularly who I have to continuously play that game with and then do a 10th and look at myself with disappointment, but I'm human. I have an ego. I have emotions. They win sometimes. But
you're telling us that recovery has not transitioned you into a robot? Is that
no?
Damn.
Nope. My Zen has not turned me into a Buddhist monk. I'm still me.
Gandhi himself, no. Oh man.
I just choose to filter myself a little bit better.
Well, I had you pegged for the Dalai Lama, Steven. So
yeah, I wish.
Man, I hear what you're saying, and you know what? One thing I'm gonna flip it just a little bit. First of all, the good news is that in a conscious state, we're aware of different people and individuals that we interact with and how we react to, how we are inclined to react to a given type of person, right? So we are in a state of mind where we're able to make a decision, if possible, with an absence of situational circumstances that are going to keep us stuck in one place with one individual, i.e. work or some shit like that, where we really have to interact. At least we can make it. At least we're aware enough to understand that this is. I'm not about this shit anymore. Like I'm not about being associated with people that fly off on in an unconscious way, right? Without people that impulsively react without any thought involved, right? I'm not about that shit anymore. That was where I lived forever. And so when I get around folks like that at this point, man, I'm out as soon as I get a scent of it, like I'm trying to get out of it. It makes me uncomfortable. Now with that said, life is life. We're going to come across personalities, on the daily that don't jive with our way of life. And at least I am now aware of my defects of character, and I'm aware of what triggers my act outs and what those, where those are coming from. And at least I'm living in a spiritual framework with principles, right? With things that guide my interaction with other people. Like, what's my role, right? What's my role in the situation? What's my, this person may be absolutely driving me up the walls. And in a previous life, I might have put them up against the wall. You know what I'm saying? But now I can't. I feel sorry for the individual. I feel compassion. I'm like, damn. I know exactly. I can relate so much at this point to when I see, when I'm just in a store or some shit and I see somebody going berserk because their fucking food's 5 minutes late. Like or some kind of completely minuscule conflict that just absolutely blast somebody off, like I see when I witness that, or if I'm involved in that kind of communication with someone, rather than I'm aware of it, I can see it and I say, damn, that is not what I want to be a part of. And I, because of what I've got at this point, I automatically in my head trigger into feeling compassion for the person and saying, man, I'm sorry that this person is losing his shit in the parking lot because he got his pizza 5 minutes late is in that frame of mind. That poor bastard is suffering. I feel sorry for him because I know that pain. You know what I'm saying? Wow. How that kind of reflection comes with recovery and compassion. You know, it's a principle of our recovery. So
if I'm not super close to them, I can feel the compassion. For some reason, if I have to deal with them regularly, I lose it. Well, but yeah, no, I know that pain, man, and that feeling of unconsciousness. And, you know, when I see people that are that angry, I'm almost like, damn, do you know how miserable it must be for them to feel that offset by any little thing that happens? Like, they must be miserable so often. And who wants to feel that way? You know, but they're powerless. They're powerless over their anger. They're powerless over their judgments. Like, I was there, man. I was powerless over my hate for everything. You know what I mean? I just couldn't not dislike things. You know, certain music. I was just a hater. Like, people, their defects, they piss my own self. Like, I just could not vibe with anything. And, you know, I still don't vibe with everything, but I don't feel it as strongly if I don't have to deal with it regularly. And honestly, it's a good thing that I'm not okay with dealing with mistreatment regularly. You know, that's my indicator going off saying, this isn't something to be around. This isn't something to subject yourself to, you know. And I can have compassion, like even the person I was speaking of earlier, like I do have a ton of compassion for her. I know she does not feel good feeling like that. But if she's not gonna take her medicine or address her issues, I also want to stay away from that behavior, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's like I can deal with anybody at work, anybody, a client that I see, someone in meetings, they can be a fucking mess. I do feel compassion for them. I do feel like helping them. I see where they're at and I can look at it from the outside. Would I invite this person in my home? You know what I mean? Would I hang out with them all day, every day and listen to their rants? You know, I got to protect my peace too, you know.
Well, you know, we have certainly been told that those people that are closest to us are oftentimes the hardest relationships to live in. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a lot easier for me to find compassion and feel sorrow for somebody in the parking lot of a restaurant than it is for me to find compassion and sorrow for somebody that I love, you know, in conflict, because we know those people so well. It's like, it's that, you know, I have been told by someone that I respect in recovery that the quickest way back into insanity is to take other people's inventory, right? You know, like get stuck in overanalyzing other people's shit, you know, and because when I do that, man, their shit becomes my shit. It's like I become fully immersed in somebody else's shit show. And it creates a shit show in my own head. And what do I do when a shit show is going down in my own head? I try to get the fuck out. Try to get out, right? And the good news is that recovery gives us a solution to do that in a healthy fashion. And it gives us a way. It gives us a roadmap and a game plan to execute when we start feeling that rumble, you know what I mean? Like, whereas, you know, before, the only way as addicts that I speak from my experience, the only way that I knew to stop that rumble was to go get high or divert my attention from the problem to some kind of chase, some kind of instant gratification. So thank God for the recovery solution. You know, I mean, that just sounds like a real simple statement, but the fact of the matter is, man, like, you know, I mean, I've been involved in relationships in the past where I was in such a fit of rage while using that I could have very well committed a heinous crime, you know, like based on being completely unconscious, completely absorbed by the disease, and feeling afraid, feeling fear, triggered by fear. You know, when we're triggered by fear, shit can go south fast. So I'm glad not to feel that these days. I'm glad that faith has replaced fear in many cases. Doesn't mean that. Well, I think I read a reader the other day that stated that, you know, courage is not the lack of fear. It's having the ability to face up to fear, to walk into it with a game plan, and to know that we're not alone, you know, and to know that higher power has our back, and we have the ability, you know, to live out higher power's will if we just follow the roadmap, take suggestions, do the things that other people that do it tell us, you know, and all that kind of stuff's hard to do without coming to a point where we just don't want to bleed anymore, you know. Right. And I don't know, just kind of flying off, but thank God for the solution. Thank God for the solution. Fucking shit. I mean, life weekly, we talk, us three, we talk quite a bit, guys, and it's, you know, we all go through things during the day where we have a choice at this point. You know, we have a choice. Didn't used to, I firmly believe that for a long time in an unconscious state, I did not have a choice whether or not I was going to get high or not. I just fucking, like a zombie, went back to the dope house every single time as almost instinctually almost to a, I don't know if instinctually is the right word for it, but I was a zombie. I was a prisoner of my disease completely. Disease had me locked the fuck up. And now, you know, after recovery meetings, after sticking around, after finding a way, finding my version of surrender, my personal version of surrender, like the whole thing has changed. And like I have a choice. We all have we have a choice every single day. We decide whether we get closer to relapse or further away from it every single day, you know? And it's just, I'm super grateful to have that kind of choice every single day. Because for so long I had no concept of choice. Like thoughts were actions. Boom, forget it. No thought in between. Nothing in between the thought and the action.
Oh hell yeah! If I have a thought, I'm going in.
Animalistic, you know what I'm saying? Like that's why the instinct word came out, because it's fucking animalistic. It's not human. It's diseased, and the disease literally steals our humanity when it's active. When it's got the upper hand, it steals it. So,
Eric, I seen you unmute. Don't think you was gonna get away with
it. Eric, you was tired. You were tired tonight. You got an excuse for being all quiet. That's for sure. We're glad you're here, though, brother. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I hate to backtrack a little bit. Actually, it kind of goes with what the last thing that was just said, but I was thinking about you had mentioned this the other day, Stephen, about just people and like actions. And you had said like it's possible that somebody could be unconscious. You know what I mean? And you guys were talking about that tonight. And it's just crazy. Like, do you guys ever observe people and just kind of see almost like an unconsciousness in people? Like, I don't know. I see it all the time. With like, it's kind of like what Wes was saying, people losing their shit over like a food order or just anything, any random stuff like that. Like, I see people at my work too, where it's almost like they're comfortable in chaos and they just always need like some kind of tension in their life to feel okay. Like, I don't know, there was a lady I worked with and the only things that drew her attention were negativity. Like, if she had a problem with a coworker, problem with her boyfriend, or like with me even, I'd go to work and I'd sit at the table and I'd put my headphones in and I'd just be in a quiet, like kind of blah mood for the day. And she would like text me, "Are you okay? Are you mad at me?" And it's like, no, I'm just chilling. Like, I don't know. I notice this in people more now, and I don't know. I feel like I can still get unconscious, so to speak, where my thoughts will just kind of go crazy, and I'll like get little slivers of the old me that come out. But as far as like people losing their shit over a food order, like I look at that type of stuff now, and it's hard to believe that I was one of those people, not over food, but just dumb stuff. Like, I would lose my shit in the past, and it's crazy. It's crazy to see somebody do that now. Like, it's like, damn, dude. Like, I hope they don't spit in your new order, you know. But yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if like they can measure like the consciousness of every single person and see where like we're at on a scale. You know, I feel like more people are unconscious most of the time. And, yeah.
Yep. That's where that compassion and sorrow kicks in for me, is because I see that stuff. First of all, the only reason that we're able to recognize this stuff is because we have been through an awakening of some sort, right? Like, otherwise, we're still in the fucking matrix. We're still plugged in. We're not understanding, we're not seeing the difference between us and others that are not awakened, and that haven't gone through something that has triggered change, from the state of unconsciousness to consciousness. So like, but when I see it, I feel sorry for those folks, because I know how awesome it is to be aware, to know, to see, to have the ability to make choices, to monitor my own thoughts, to freaking, have control, like, back, have some control, over the things that I have the ability to control. I've got it now, and it's a daily thing. Like, Eric, you said something about, you mentioned that, you can sometimes feel like you go back into an unconscious state. We all do, bro. Like,
oh hell yeah.
Oh my God, man. Like, this. Okay. If that were not the case, then we would all be able to get our graduation papers from the disease of addiction. We would graduate from recovery meetings, right? It would be called cure meetings rather than recovery meetings, right? That's not reality. We're all very aware of that. So we have to stay vigilant. We have to understand what we have is a daily reprieve, man. And it takes staying woke to that, staying awake, staying in tune with what we have to do on a daily basis. And it's not even that for me. Like, it's not even that painful for me to implement things at all. Like, I used to think prior to getting to the right side of the recovery tracks, I used to think that, man, this is like, it's going to be such a pain in the ass to live this way. You know, like I'm not going to be able to go certain places. I'm not going to be able to talk to certain people. I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to be able to do that. All that kind of not going to be able to do shit. Right. And that was such a barrier to entry for me for so long. And now that I'm here, it's just like, man, I created so much unnecessary mental anguish on myself, thinking about how shitty, clean, and serene life would be, you know? It's that's it kept me from getting to a point of surrender for a hot minute, I think. Like my priorities were so twisted up. Man, I would be the drug dealer's best friend. I'd come I'd take his ass wherever he wanted to go. I'd do whatever that drug dealer needed me to do because he was my best friend. Yeah. Like, what the fuck? Where's the priorities? Like, I was unconscious, completely unconscious in that kind of activity, and didn't know any better. I was doing the best I could with what I had at that point, which was very little, in terms of mental capacity to see what all these people have been talking about. It's like all these people that are in the solution, as opposed to just zombied out or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of compare awareness to like breathing, like how often are you aware that you're breathing? You know what I mean? Like you could tell yourself, I'm going to stay focused on not just like meditation breathing, but just breathing in general. Like I'm just going to be aware of myself breathing. I'm going to focus. You know what I mean? You just trail right off. And you're doing it anyway. Like, dude, I slip in and out of autopilot all day. Now, here's where I would break down the difference between what we would call unconscious and autopilot, because we're always going to have autopilot. We're always going to have ego. We're always going to have thoughts we identify with. It's just the fact, how often do we come up for a breath of air? Back when I was using and just really absorbed in my thoughts and my mind, I'd have moments of awareness. I'd have moments of presence and I'd have moments of happiness, but they were only really in between thoughts, and everything had to be perfect for me to be unaffected, right? I couldn't have been thinking about the past or my resentments or things I didn't know how to reframe. I just had to be so absorbed in what I was doing. Now, the unconscious part for me comes where I believe all these random points of views and thoughts that I have that are bad for me, like, so someone says something to me, boom, I'm thinking you're a piece of shit. I believe it. I'm unconscious. I say something. I think of something shitty to say. I don't have a filter, or I don't have a pause and a choice. I just think, fuck you, say fuck you. Now I go to do something. I'm entitled now by your actions. I develop another point of view. I go and tell somebody how much you suck. Then I run around and flatten your tires. All these things are unconscious thoughts that I do not see as opinions or options. They are facts. This is me. This is who I am. This is the thought I have of you. This is what I'm going to do because this is what I should do, because I can't let you get one up on me. Or this is what my character would do because I have a reputation to uphold. Or this is what I want to do because this is the only thing that's going to make me feel like I got even. You know what I mean? Like, that to me is unconsciousness. And maybe that's like an extreme example, but like all these things, anything that we view as a default, and we're just going with the motions, unaware that we have choice in the matter, to me is unconscious. You know, the guy who gets his fucking pizza 5 minutes late, flips shit. I'm so fucking entitled. You didn't have my fucking pizza. You are a piece of shit person who doesn't deserve respect. Like, I want my money. I'm writing a bad review. Like, but they believe it. They think that's the right thing to do. I have a thought. I have an impulse. I'm so powerless, or I'm so weak that I don't have control over how I respond to these feelings and thoughts that I'm having. So I'm just going to show my whole ass. I'm not going to walk away and reflect, because I'm now unconscious in the next moment, telling my wife how much you suck, counting the pepperonis. You shorted me. I used to have people count pepperonis. But that's all unconsciousness, and they keep it going. Anything to make them feel right, to make them more distracted, away from themselves, and not even a glimpse of, am I wrong here? Is there another way? Maybe this pizza guy had a bad day. Maybe he hit like every red light on the way and he's upset about it. Nothing. And that's for us where we are so lucky, because not just any type of awakening books we read, not just because, like the recovery principles, the self-reflection, the compassion, the understanding, all like immensely changed how I view life. Like, I could still get mad at people. I can still feel entitled about some things sometimes, but it's not like that. Dude, I've found hair in my food and been like, whatever. Like if someone's just being a straight up ass, maybe I'll say something, but I'm still not going to respond with anger and hate, but I may not respond with, oh, I'm just being compassionate with you because you're being rude to me because you had a bad day. Like, no, we're not going to do that. But making a mistake, you're human, man. It's all good, bro. Like, calm down. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Just big difference. So, and having those breaths of air is what it's all about. We are always going to fall into unconsciousness. I used to fall in it for months at a time, like no moments of peace, no moments of there's another way, nothing. Like now, I mean, I might go a couple hours, maybe a couple days max, if I'm really either riding a high, like a real good autopilot, or just a super funk autopilot. But for the most part, I have glimpses, you know what I mean? And you guys in the meetings pull me right in. Like, that's that good feeling we get when we leave a meeting. That's presence, man. That's a fresh relief of oxygen, a centering.
That's some good shit right there, man. Thank God for that, the existence of that feeling. Yeah. Feelings like that. Feelings what it's all about. Like I didn't have any concept of how dead inside I was while I was using. And just to get past getting to the solution and having the feelings, those feels, that's and the feeling I get from going to a meeting and coming out with the piece of experience, with some of that a couple dollars worth of that experience that I'm looking for. I go get what I need. You know what I'm saying? I go to meetings to get what I need, and I put it in my pocket and feel it. But like while you were talking, Stephen, I was sitting here thinking about just how, how great it is in where I am to be out of self, to be out of that at least foundational self-centered grip, if you will, where like I just like these poor bastards that are complaining about everything. The reason they complain is because the reason that we complained when we were in that state is because the whole world revolves around. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, how dare you bring me a fucking pizza with 12 pepperonis instead of 14 on it? Like,
right.
Like, or I mean, this biscuit's too. Obviously, I'm up in the restaurant industry, obviously, because all my examples are pissed off customers.
Gives you a different energy after you actually have been on the other side.
Yeah, exactly. It is. I'm just because I remember being that way. I I remember that being that guy. You know, not necessarily within the service world, but think about on the road, man. Like driving, you know, like that road, that highway is clearly built for me completely. I'm the reason that road was built, you know, and everybody else on that road should get the fuck out the way. You know, like what kind of concept of what kind of disease thinking is that?
That's that human condition thinking too, man. Because I'm telling you, man, a lot of people think like that without the disease of addiction, man. That's so much of it is our human disease, dude. Like our sense of entitlement, our just conditioning of how life is, how it should be. Take what you can get. Fuck the next person. You know, men who, you know, were raised, bitches ain't shit. And, you know, just there's so many messages out there that are just so toxic and so bad. And man, I was a victim to a lot of them. And really, I just chose to have those agreements, you know what I mean? And live that life. And yeah, like, oh, you pulled out in front of me a quarter mile up the road. I'm going to stomp on it and show you how much you had my spot if I was going 20 miles an hour faster and ride your ass. And
oh yeah,
I was like, just, it's all good, man. You know, speed up right next to him, stare at him and shit. Fuck, man, I ain't got time for that shit. I mean, you pull out like right in front of me, like make me almost crash, I might have a problem. Yeah, I might get mad. But if you just pull out in front of me, make me pull off my gas a little bit, I'm not tripping, bro. Like, it's not worth it, man. And really, that's not. I don't know. Like, it's humbling and it's freeing to have these stances. You know, when I first got sober back in the day, these things felt defeating to me. You know, like it felt defeating to surrender. It felt defeating to be humble. It felt like I'm taking so much away from myself that I can't not look at myself as a god because I'll feel like nothing, you know? And it's one of them paradoxes of recovery, man, where it's like, bro, you aren't special, but you are, you know what I mean? Like you are not a god, but you have the power of God. Like we can work magic, man. We have such amazing capabilities if we actually just get out of our own way and harness them, bruh. Like I've legit, like, and I can't do this shit on command. I'm not trying to get all supernatural, but I've experienced, man, like just universe vibes like crazy, man. Like thinking about people and they call, or just connections left and right that have no other explanation. And it's not things, like I said, I can make happen on command, but it's things I just feel like with the resistance and the blockage set aside, you just notice it more. Maybe it's already happening even with the ego block, but you just notice it more. And it's such a great feeling. You just feel aligned and connected. And, you know, that is fuck any drug, dude. That shit feels bomb.
It's the best. It is 100% incredible to be tapped into our own life source. You know, and, you know, we can describe it in different ways. You know, addicts in the rooms describe the feeling of being with a higher power of some sort in different ways, but we all share one commonality, and it's that we feel the difference. When we come to believe, we know. It is not something that we can think our way into. It is 100% raw, emotional, kick into the chest. Holy shit, there it is. This is it. You know, this is what I trust my life with. Put it that way. You know, like this, I have gotten to a point where I know that I destroy myself this is something, this is some new shit. This is some other shit. It makes me feel, I can feel it. This is without a doubt not even having the ability to describe exactly what it is, you know? This is what I trust my life with. This is it. And I mean, I choose to call that God. You know, others choose to call it higher power. Others choose to, you know, define it in whatever way that makes sense to them. But in the end, we're all following the same solution. We're all, and it works due to the feels that we get and the results that we see in our lives when we make the next right decision, you know? And think about what we're doing, not just walk a path of zombie land. Yeah.
Right.
That's where the disease puts me, man. When I'm locked in and obsessed on something, I'm slave to it. I'm enslaved. And without the solution, without the steps, without brothers and sisters in recovery that I can bounce things off of and hear my higher power talk to me through, I'm lost. And man, to see other people come to that realization too, based on, you know, things that I do for them is incredible. That's what carrying. That is why our primary purpose is to carry that message to people that are still suffering. That's why, because it helps. It helps us. You know, there is no feeling. The therapeutic value of one addict helping another is without parallel. There's no feeling like that. Like, for somebody like me that was lost in life, that didn't have any concept of purpose, to catch that feels where I see somebody's soul explode all of a sudden, you know, based on them being in a room full of recovering addicts that are sharing the experience, sharing their experience. And that's all. And it's not a hard thing to do. Like, I used to sit in a meeting and be like, God, what am I going? I'm sitting here thinking for fucking 10 minutes on exactly what I want to say and how I want it to impact somebody and all that kind of shit. And it's not. That was fake. It was all fake and dishonest. Like, at this point, I share some experience. I have experience, you know, and an understanding of it, like how that experience has impacted my journey to get to the recovery table and pull a seat up and stay a while, you know, like get comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
For today. I don't know, but it's true. I'm grateful for you boys. I appreciate you guys being in my life, man. It's like, I don't know what I'd do without our constant contact, you know, like I really benefit from hearing from you guys on a regular basis. And it's just because we relate. I think we're kind of kindred spirits in some ways, you know, we're kind of aligned in how we think and how we act. And at the same time, we've got, you know, we're different people as well, but it's all about, for me, like being in a meeting and listening to somebody talk about recovery. Sometimes I can't hear somebody, you know, I just can't hear them. I can't hear the message. And I do my best to put principles over personalities and really actively try to listen to somebody sometimes. And I just don't catch that feel from some people. And then other people that I interact with, man, they just light that fire, you know, and I choose to associate with the people that light that fire for me, because in the end, we're here for us. I'm here for me. Eric's here for him. Steven's here for him. Like,
Yeah.
We are here because of us. We're here because it helps us, you know. But the beautiful part about it is we help ourselves by helping other people, helping each other.
What up?
What up?
You know? So. Yeah.
Anna popped in to say hey.
Yeah. Hey, Anna.
What up?
All right, Eric, you got any final thoughts for us? Not that I'm putting it on you at all. You're just my Jerry Springer, bro.
I got one that popped up. I think I said this on a meeting, but it came into mind for some reason. And when I was 18, I tried to get clean and I went to a methadone clinic. And the therapist there, she was way cool, like, but I always remember her saying this, and this last year it really hit me because it makes so much sense. And she said recovery is all about learning how to find your humble, and when you lose that humble, knowing how to get back to it. And like for me, that's everything, because I don't know, I feel like the one thing that would make me relapse is when I'm not in a place of like being humble. Yep. Where I'm completely, I guess, unconscious. So like, yeah, I don't know, that came into mind a little earlier, and yeah, I think I'll leave it at that.
That's some good shit, man.
Oh yeah, it is.
We'll continue it for part 2.